All right, Mr. Teleferro TV, how's everybody doing out there? I want to read you something from Allen Iverson. All respect to Allen Iverson. Career average 26.7 points in 14 seasons in the league, 11 All-Star appearances, NBA MVP in 2001. Legend. But he made some crazy comments a couple days back. He was asked about Carmelo Anthony. First off, he went to his Instagram account and said, with all due respect, he can only make your team better. Hashtag Carmelo Anthony, hashtag Hall of Fame. He went on to say, no way I think Melo should retire. I definitely think he's got a lot left. He should keep going. He's got a lot left in the tank. It's just got to be in the right situation. Again, how you guys doing? My name is Mr. Teleferro. You're on my sports platform. Please subscribe if you are new to the platform. We do videos like this all day, every day. Let me tell y'all a quick story real quick. I met Allen Iverson 2 years ago. More like 3 years ago. I met Allen Iverson at a celebrity basketball game. I had already heard stories about Allen Iverson, how he wasn't great with people. I ruled it out because to my generation, I'm 25. Allen Iverson is a legend and will be respected as such. Not only his crossover, not just his game, but the impact he's had on our culture, bringing hip-hop to me. Not only hip-hop, bringing our culture. Let me just not put the hip-hop quote on it. Dude brought our culture over to the NBA. He made it cool to not have to just be suited and booted, but you can add your little flavor to it when you're sitting out games, right? Allen Iverson is a cultural icon. So I didn't care what I had heard. I knew Allen Iverson was going to be at the celebrity basketball game. I was covering it. I knew I wanted that opportunity to meet Allen Iverson and interview him. I was reporting at the time. So I go backstage. I meet Allen Iverson. He's in the locker room getting ready. You know, I see Allen Iverson not really look the most friendliest of guys, you know, and I used to work for a station, so I knew one of the reporters that was there, a much bigger outlet than mine. I was just working for myself and my channel, but there was a news station there that I used to work for. The news station goes up to Allen Iverson and says, hey, we need an interview from you. Does the interview, no problems. It's just me and that other outlet. So I walk up to AI, hey, can I get an interview with you? I just had 2-3 questions. You mind if man, what's up with all these interviews? You know, I didn't want to argue with him. I could get kicked out of the game. He's the biggest person there at the celebrity game. I'm not arguing with Allen Iverson. He's like, nah, who said I was doing interviews? But hey, I just watched you do an interview with this outlet that was, you know, a white reporter asked you for an interview was okay. I asked you, you see I'm young coming up. You know I ain't gonna ask you nothing crazy. I won't do it like that. I know where you come from. I'm one of the same. We come from that, you know. Nah, I ain't doing it. Nope, I ain't doing it. I was like, all right, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't get that. But, you know, I don't hold it to Allen Iverson's legacy. Him doing an interview with me or not, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Legend, first ballot Hall of Famer that he is. All respect to AI. I said all that to say, sometimes when these legends talk, you got to ignore them. I don't believe guys like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or Russell Westbrook would be great coaches. You want to know why? They're physically gifted. They're mentally gifted. They can do things with their bodies that the normal person can't. I don't believe LeBron James would be a good head coach. I believe guys who are like C+ or B- players make the best head coaches in the NBA. They get it. They might have been a star for maybe a season or two. They understand what it's like to be in that role, but for the most of their career, they're like role players or complimentary guys, right? So I like seeing those guys be head coaches, not guys like Allen Iverson. Because I don't think when you're that great, you have a good sense of the game, because a lot of times you A, live in the past, or B, you don't have a real sense of the game, or C, you allow your friendships to kind of conflict what is better judgment, right? So he says Carmelo Anthony can only make your team better. Well, Allen Iverson, I respect your opinion. You deserved it much more than me. You played the game. It's just not true. All right, Allen Iverson, I just watched it. For 3 teams. I just watched it, Allen Iverson. Hey, yeah, I just watched it. Let's go back 3 years. The Knicks. The Knicks are a much better organization without the services of Carmelo Anthony. Now, to be fair, they're a better organization without Phil Jackson as well. And probably when Dolan sells the team, they'll be better as well. But let's call a spade a spade. I watched the games, AI. I don't know if you are or not. You're a busy guy. That team is better. It got better. Porzingis' game got better when Melo left. A lot of the guys who weren't getting shots, they were more efficient. I'm sorry. The Knicks were a better team without Carmelo Anthony. and still are a better team without Melo. The Thunder. Yo, the Thunder are having a pretty good season. For the most part of last year, with Melo on the roster, they struggled to make the playoffs. It took a late season push for them to get in. This year, you know, Russ is struggling from the field, but Paul George is playing phenomenal basketball. MVP level basketball. He's in my top 5 for MVP right now. And I'm going to tell you this. I know Russ was very accepting of Carmelo Anthony, but from what I was told from somebody who would know Paul George is thinking, he wasn't happy when remember, they got Paul George first, and then Melo came on late, right before the season was about to start, right before training camp. I was told Paul George didn't love the Carmelo Anthony signing because he know what it was. You see, guys can talk a good game about Carmelo Anthony behind the scenes all they want. A lot of guys are not going to come out and make statements like Allen Iverson. If they do come out, they'll say the same thing that AI said. He makes the team better. I just saw a statement from James Harden the other day. Melo deserves another shot. Well, Harden, if you think Melo deserves a shot, you're the MVP of the league. If you really thought that about Carmelo Anthony, the Rockets would have never got rid of him. Speaking of the Rockets, Melo, you played like 10 games and they were ready to move on from you. They didn't want anything to do with you. They didn't want to give it to All-Star break. They was like, nope, we see the culture that he brings. Nope. Hey, I respect you. Like I said earlier, of course you've earned the right to say whatever the hell you want. I don't care how crazy the take is. That dude has put in blood, sweat, and tears into the game. He deserves that right. Hey, I just don't agree with you. I think there is a right situation for Carmelo Anthony. Here's my opinion. I believe he'd be good on the Portland Trail Blazers. Only if Melo is willing to look in the mirror and say, I don't need 20 shots a game. I don't need to camp out at the three-point line. I don't need to camp out at the mid-range. I need to still play defense. I need to get buckets at the rim. I need to be in as best shape as possible to get as much explosion as I can back. He's later in his career. Melo's 34, 35. If Melo commits to winning and not Melo, and it's tough because I don't look at him as like a Russell Westbrook selfish, but it's still selfish though. Like, it's still kind of selfish. If Melo commits to all those things, yes, I think Portland should sign him. And nobody's talking about it. I believe the Portland Trail Blazers should give Carmelo Anthony an opportunity. They need star power. I don't like where Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum go in the playoffs. Yes, I think they should consider signing. But only if Melo's ready to change his mental. He doesn't make every team in this league better. He's free right now and no team wants him. Atlanta Hawks passed on him. They weren't trying to get Melo to have him play. They just wanted a buyout to get rid of Dennis Schroeder's contract. They didn't want to pay Schroeder. The Bulls don't even want him. I know Melo thinks it's like, yo, I don't want to play with the Bulls. It's also the juggler. The Bulls don't want you either. Even if Melo did want to play with the Bulls. So I thank you guys for the time, love, support. Gotta respect our legends, man. But like I said, man, A, B, or C with those legends. Sometimes they just, the game is, they're so tied into the game and friendships and everything. I just think sometimes that opinion can be biased, and rightfully so. You went to war. Melo and AI were teammates for like 4 years in Denver. You get it. You get it, right? And by the way, even that was a failure as well. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids. They are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Telefair.
Mr. Telefair.
Mr. Telefair.
Mr. Telefair.
Shout out to Mr. Telefair.
You're watching Mr. Telefair TV.
Mr. Telefair TV. Here with the Triple B's. You can't do nothing but win.